Okay, we're on.
Daye. I want to introduce you to the lovely Tammy L. Hall. She's with us all the way from San Francisco. So y'all know how we do it. We sing, we welcome each other in, we welcome ourselves into this space. And Melo's going to work us out again tonight. You ready? Okay, here we go. Come on in, we welcome you. Come on in, we welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in, take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer.
This thing gets hot up there.
Come on in, we welcome you. Come on in, we welcome you.
There you go.
Let go,
Okay.
be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in.
Yeah.
Amen.
Is that thing locking?
So we have sign language between, as you just got wind of that. So welcome into this space. This space has been prayed up for y'all. So please step into that open heart space as we sing Reveal. Reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Peace. Reveal peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me, the joy. Reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Peace. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Joy. Every time I open up, joy is Feel the love, reveal the love in me.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Tammy. So I invite you to close your eyes and go to that quiet place within, that place of peace, that place of truth, that place of eternal love. That is God. Knowing that God is invoked here right now. God is in this place. He is all around you. He is on these walls, on this floor, and the ceiling. He is in each and every one of our hearts. God is here right now, and it is good. God is the peace, the wholeness, the love, the serenity, the wisdom, ever abounding, eternal, ever expanding, all good. So I am one with that God, one with that peace, knowing that I and the Father are one. So knowing this truth, deep, deep within me, feeling it, expressing it, living it, I know this truth for each and every one here. I see your light, for your light and my light are one. That is love. That is God's love expressed individually through just beautiful expressions that each and every one has. So with a grateful heart, I know this truth. And together we say, and so it is. Good evening. My name is David Yankaskas. I'm a practitioner here. And welcome very much. It's so nice to see everybody here. So I have a reading tonight by Eckhart Tolle. It's a book that I've been reading here just recently. Thought I would share it with you. It's called A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. And in the first section of the book, he talks a lot about the ego and how that seems to get in our way in many cases. So there was a passage in here that I thought was good to share with you this evening. There is only one absolute truth, and all other truths emanate from it. When you find that truth, your actions will be in alignment with it. Human action can reflect the truth, or it can reflect illusion. Can the truth be put into words? Yes, but the words are, of course, not it. They only point to it. The truth is inseparable from who you are. Yes, you are the truth. If you look for it elsewhere, you will be deceived by it every time. The very being that you are is truth. Jesus tried to convey that when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. These words uttered by Jesus are one of the most powerful and direct pointers to the truth, if understood correctly. If misinterpreted, however, they can become a great obstacle. Jesus speaks of the innermost I am, the essence of identity of every man and woman, every life form, in fact. He speaks of the life that you are. Some Christian mystics have called it the Christ within. Buddhists call it your Buddha nature. For Hindus, it is Atman, the indwelling God. When you are in touch with that dimension within yourself and being in touch with it, your natural state, not some miraculous achievement, all your actions and relationships will reflect the oneness with all life that you sense deep within. This is love. Laws, commandments, rules, and regulations are necessary for those who are cut off from who they are, the truth within. They prevent the worst excesses of the ego, and often they don't even do that. Love and do what you will, said St. Augustine. Words cannot get much closer to the truth than that. Thank you. So let me invite Reverend Sunshine up, please.
Thank you, David, for that wonderful reading. Hi, everybody. Wow. I've always loved Eckhart Tolle and the wisdom that comes from all the wonderful people that we get to read in the spiritual community. What I love mostly is that we have an opportunity to know within ourselves that right where we are, God is. We have an opportunity to bear witness to that each and every moment. And as we bear witness that right where I am, God is, as you say that to yourself, right where I am, God is, and as we begin to bear witness to that, we begin to experience wholeness. Our theme for the month, of course, is Imagine, and it's based out of the Science of Mind magazine, where I've had the privilege and the pleasure of writing the daily guides. And so I figured, hey, we would take what's already written and have that be our topic. And so today's topic is Wholeness is Mine Now. And so coming right back to that feeling tone, that as I recognize that God is right where I am, and I begin to really step into that and ease into that space where I'm recognizing that God is everywhere present in its wholeness and its fullness and its full power, that God is not watered down in some places, but in its fullness in others, but that God is the same everywhere, in every place, in its fullness, in its power, in its joy, in its knowledge, in its knowing, in its infinite intelligence. As I begin to then bring that here and say, right where I am, God is, I begin to experience the wholeness that is mine to experience. And as we begin to do that, each of us, as a spiritual community, we begin to experience the wholeness. Now, mind you, Ernest Holmes wasn't the only one to speak of this wholeness. Eckhart Tolle is not the only one to speak of this wholeness. I'm not the only one speaking of this wholeness. But in fact, to the degree in which we embrace that and we know that for ourselves, we become the revealers of truth, and we can speak to the wholeness that is ours to experience. Yes, I'm so happy that we have all these great, great, wonderful people who have come before us who have described the allness and the wholeness of God and have described that as being our very life. And yet, just like Eckhart was talking about, don't confuse the pointing finger to the thing itself. Do not be confused by the writings and miss the boat and miss having the experience of wholeness for yourself. So exactly what is wholeness? I know that when we think about an apple, I love apples, and I think about a whole apple. You know, if I want to share it, I can, cut it in half or in quarters and share it. And if I kind of divvy it up amongst everybody here tonight, we will have a little smidgen, a taste of that apple. And yet it's interesting because we might begin to think that we've only gotten part of the apple. But actually, the entirety of the apple is indeed in every bite, in every sliver, in every tasty morsel. I can just, my glands are starting to salivate a little bit, salivate, as I'm thinking about biting into a great apple. But when we think about it, really, the allness of the apple isn't every bite. So the wholeness, we may get a partial or a piece of the apple, but really its entirety is represented in in every bite. When I think about the wholeness of who I am, or the wholeness of God, there's nothing missing. Nothing, no thing missing. It also means that my mental state, my emotional state, my physical state, my spiritual state are intact, are in its entirety. It is all there. I know lots of us in spiritual community, especially as we've been in spiritual communities for longer periods of time, we begin to maybe not feel at our best self. Maybe our bodies begin to shift and change a little bit. And we begin to then give ourselves the message that I'm getting older. My body's not working the way it used to. Or, ooh, I can tell it's going to rain. My knees are hurting. Some of y'all are laughing. Y'all must have said that once or twice. Or it's flu season, and begin to go ahead and catch these colds and flus and symptoms, or that there's something that is happening, some shifts and some changes in our bodies, and our physical bodies are happening. And sometimes that can be the most challenging for us when we think about my body is shifting and changing. There's something, sometimes people say wrong, or I'm aging. I like to call it saging. I'm saging because the sages are the wise ones, right? So we can begin to sage in this community. Instead of aging, we sage around here, okay? Y'all with me on that one? Okay, good. You like that, huh? Okay. As our bodies begin to shift and change, race consciousness has told us that, prepare to die. Prepare your paperwork. Prepare to have a many years of struggling or medication or things of that nature. And we begin to take that on. See, here's the thing. People are going to tell us stuff all the time. But you don't know where that stuff has been. Why do you want it? Why do you take it and own it and then say it in the I form? Really, you don't know where it's been rolling around and what neighborhoods it's been in and what it's been hanging out with. It's not like a cute little stray that you want to bring in. It ain't even cute. It's just plain out ugly. And it doesn't benefit us. And yet, sometimes because we hear it once or twice or read about it, or because they give some new thing a new name, we want to take it on and make it ours and adopt it. And then tell ourselves that we have it, or that that's our experience. And true enough, not to deny any of the physical stuff that happens. However, wholeness is ours now. Wholeness is mine now. Now, here's the thing about wholeness that we get to understand a little bit more at a time as we begin to grasp the spiritual principles of our being. A, we believe that right where we are, God is. That there is one power, one presence, one life, and that life is the life that God is. And that God, through some act upon itself, through some act of involution, has created everything. Therefore, everything has its beingness in God, and God has its beingness in, through, and as our very life. So that which is true of God is true of us. And though it may seem that there's duality or separateness, we're actually living the life of God as human. The trees, the flowers, the sea, the sand, a rock is living the life of God as that. That is the way God expresses as a rock, as grass, as sand, as the ocean, as a mountain, as a beautiful flower. This is the way God expresses as sunshine. You are the way God expresses as you. And the allness and the wholeness of God is already existing in, through, and as you. And as you begin to understand that and grasp that, you will also begin to even try to wrap your brain around, because I know I've been trying to wrap my brain around this, that my life is eternal. Whoa. That's a long time. That's a long, long time. And beginning to understand that in this eternality, that my life, from the time I was spanked or conceived even, for some, has been in this human body, God existing as my body in humanity, as a human being on planet Earth, that this is this time period of the eternal life that I am, but I get to experience it in this form. Therefore, even though my body may experience a breakdown or a transition or a hurt or a pain or life for 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 years that I'm going to live, whatever it is, that my wholeness is not set by those parameters of my humanness. That my wholeness is indeed a state of consciousness and a state of awareness that I begin to engage in, and know for myself, because it already is the truth of who I am. Wholeness is mine now. Wholeness is yours now. And that as we journey through this life period of your eternal life, as you are on this journey of your eternal life in this human form, in this human body, your body does not dictate your wholeness. But so many times we fall into this idea and into this backwards thinking that I am my body and that I am just my body. And when things go a little to the left or a little to the right or a little off center, we begin to think that we live and die and that therefore wholeness cannot be mine. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Because it's quiet in here. Okay. So the point is that wholeness is already who and what we are. It is our state of consciousness, our state of being. And that our body, our physical body, does not determine whether we have a whole lot of wholeness or a little bit of wholeness, or we have less than her or more than him, or he's got a whole lot, he needs to share some of his wholeness with us. It is not dictated and regulated by any of that. It is already who we are. And to the degree in which I begin to accept that for myself and know that for myself and begin to speak it and to speak from that place of authority that it is mine, that it is already who and what I am, and where I can actually use this authority and use my wholeness consciousness to heal my body, to work things out, to get through above and beyond, to live a joy-filled life. To the degree in which I embrace that, is to the degree in which I enjoy the wholeness that I am. So how is it then that we begin to embrace that? You know, around here we talk a lot about change your thinking, change your life. But it's more than that. I mean, that's the place to start. You know, when I was a youngster in elementary school running a relay race or running the 50-yard or the 100-yard dash, we all started at the same place. There was a starting line, and we had to get down on your marks, get set, and go. When we heard the gun or the go, we were off, but we all started from the same place. And here in spiritual community, we start from the place of change your thinking, change your life. But in actuality, as I ran that race and made the turn around the bend, it was more than just where I started from. It was how I maintained my speed. As I began to look at others, I checked in with myself on how I was feeling, If it was a relay race and I had to pass the baton, I had to know and just really be in that space of stepping correctly so that when I passed the baton, either under or overhanded, depending on how the person wanted to receive it, that I was there and that it was being handed off in such a way that that person could take it and run. But it was more than just where we started from. It was what moved me, what propelled me, what kept me going, how I kept my eye on the prize. And see, change your thinking, change your life is a great place to begin. So we all start from that premise. But it's definitely more than our thinking. Because see, our thinking is simply just our thoughts. We are thinking beings, and so thoughts will come and go. Thoughts will come and go. It depends which ones we latch onto that will then determine what becomes habitual thinking. It depends upon which ones we latch onto that after they become a habitual thought or a way of being that becomes a belief and what we believe. Because you see, the bottom line is we don't really act. Our behavior is not based on our thoughts. Our behavior is really steeped in what we believe. And a lot of times we are not even consciously aware of what we believe. And what we believe acts as a law in our life, meaning that we follow that law. We're obedient to that belief. And I can't really tell what part of my body my belief is in yet. I haven't pinpointed it yet. But definitely, I am driven by my beliefs more than I have ever been driven by my thoughts. But we start at thoughts because we all have them. And we're all maybe aware of what passes through the portals of our mind. So it's really examining what we believe. And for so many of us, we've been brought up with this idea of sin, of you're human, you're flawed, you're imperfect. There's no way that you can experience wholeness because you're imperfect. There's no way that you could really attach in one sentence that the life that God is, I am. Some people would even call it blasphemy to have that be one sentence, to be that even a belief or a thought. And what we're asking all of us to do on this spiritual journey is to entertain the idea that this is so because it is. Because if we really logically believe that in the beginning there was God and there was only God, and God created everything out of itself, or God created everything, from what did God create? It wasn't like God, here I am, and I'm going to create, so I'm going to go to the junkyard, because then there'd be God in the junkyard, or God in this, and God in that. If we ever only believed logically that there was God and, then maybe it's not only God. But what we know and what we're living from is that in the beginning, if there was a beginning, because there really is no space and time in God, is that there's this energetic presence that has created everything out of itself. Therefore, we are one with this presence, with this power. And that which is true about this power is true for us because we are of it. It is of it. We have our living and beingness in it. So wholeness is mine now. So I get to dispel and uncover these beliefs that I'm imperfect or that I'm not whole or that I'm flawed or that I'm less than or anything like that, and begin to really embrace this knowing that just what is true of God is true of me. The wholeness that God is, I am. It is my beingness. You know, Ernest Holmes speaks to this a little bit in the Science of Mind book. On page 463, he says, life is one perfect wholeness. Life is one perfect wholeness. The universe is a unit. God is one. it is impossible for man to feel separate from the Spirit without feeling lost and in want. This is why Jesus, the Christ, said that he could do nothing of himself, but could work only as the currents of divinity ran through his personal mentality. So even if we begin from that space or from that place of, oh, maybe I do believe that God's way up there and unreachable and untouchable and I'm right here, even if that's the place that we come from, what Ernest Holmes is encouraging us to know and to believe is that when I am in that place, I feel alone and separate from, and I want, because I forget that I am the unit, I am part of the unit, that life is perfect wholeness. I forget my truth. And so I end up wanting, I want. Because within me there's this old belief, this misbelief that is still brewing and acting as a law unto my life. But when I begin to really embrace and understand that life is a perfect wholeness, that the universe is a unit, that everything is one, that everything is God. Even if I believe that God's here and I'm here, because I'm part of the unit, the wholeness that God is, I am by default. Because that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So even if I'm starting from that place of God is still separate from me, we can begin to embrace our wholeness right where we are. We can still start at the same starting line with our own beliefs, with those old thoughts, with the current thoughts, with the current beliefs, and begin from there. That even if there's this inkling that God is still separate from me, I can still begin to examine those thoughts, those ideas, and clear them away to such a degree where I begin to incorporate new ideas and new thoughts, which are really ancient thought and ancient wisdom. There's really nothing new. It's the stuff our ancestors were talking about. It's the power that many people have pointed to all along. But again, we have confused the pointed finger to what they were actually talking about, that we must experience this wholeness for ourselves. That we must begin through our daily spiritual practice several times a day, remind ourselves and really begin to uncover these beliefs that no longer serve us. These beliefs that will keep us separate from God, which is an impossibility. However, if we mentally believe that we're separate from God, then we are. But it's totally an impossibility because we can never be separate from God. God is living in, through, and as us in this moment. So our task this week, as we begin to simply explore the wholeness that we all are, is to begin to uncover those places where we still think that we're separate from God, where we still believe that our physical body or our mental body is flawed to such a degree that we cannot experience our wholeness, and begin to seriously embrace that even with whatever quote-unquote physical conditions are appearing, that does not dictate, hurt, harm, injure, interfere, or disturb the wholeness that I really am. It cannot disturb, interfere, reduce, or dissipate my wholeness. Because my wholeness is my state of consciousness and the state of knowing that I am part of this universal presence, this power, this peace, this awesome generative energy that has created everything. That I am one with that. And when I'm talking about that kind of power, that kind of presence, that kind of love, that kind of harmony, that kind of peace, nothing can disturb or disrupt that power. So I must be mistaken. I must have taken a misstep here into believing that I could ever be anything less than whole. And recognize for that moment that wholeness that God is, I am. That the peace that God is, I am. That the joy that God is, I am. That the power that God is, I am. And as we begin to shine a light upon those habitual thoughts that become our beliefs, and we begin to shine a light and go, oh, dang, I've been believing a lie. That's a lie. That's an outright lie. That we begin to see how it has affected our life, but that little by little, through our spiritual practice and through some other techniques, we begin to let go of that belief and replace it with the truth. That right where I am, wholeness is. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, joy is. Right where I am, peace is, and power, clarity. Wholeness is mine now. It's not coming. It's mine now. It's mine now because this is the life of God. This is the life of God. And in the life of God, there's only wholeness. There's only peace and power and love and joy and abundance, clarity, harmony. That is who we are. That is where we come from. That is where we get to not just change our thinking, but begin to incorporate that as part of our habitual thinking, our habitual knowing, our knowing, so that that is what we believe. And that as we believe that then we begin to live from that place. We begin to live from this place of wholeness, regardless of what the world of appearance might say. That we begin to live from this place of power. That we begin to live from this place of peace, of love, of joy, of abundance. That we live from this place because it is what we believe. And that we are believing rightly. So the invitation is to simply go with me on this guided meditation today, which is from today in our Science of Mind magazine. Some of you have already experienced it, and some of you may not. And so if you've experienced it anew, because this is the very first time and the only time we'll ever experience this moment. So I invite you to simply clear your laps. And as you do that, you can begin to simply use the clearing of your laps as a clearing of your mind, ready to embrace and understand a new you. A you that is experiencing wholeness. For we already know that the power of meditation is enormous. So as we just take time in this guided meditation, we simply allow ourselves to be open and receptive. So allow your imagination to take over for a few moments. I know some of us are scared to let our imagination take over, but simply go with me and allow your mind to imagine, to see as if it's a movie on the screen of your mind. And just know that together in community that we're safely participating in a knowing of our life as the life of God. And that we're participating in knowing this in a deeper way. See yourself in your favorite outdoor quiet place. And as you gaze over the horizon, you see a path And as you take your first step on that path, your body sensation is one of calm and peace. And the more steps you take, the more you notice your youthful tendencies. The more you notice the texture of your skin, the more you begin to notice the clarity of your mind, the more you begin to notice the agility of your body. And as you continue to take steps forward, as you continue to advance forward, simply begin to know that your body, your mind, that every organ and every function of the body is operating in such a way to keep you healthy right now. That no matter what the physical conditions may appear to be like, simply see yourself and imagine that your body is working together in harmony for its wholeness, for your wholeness. Along the path, there's a familiar scent. What is that scent? You recognize that you're able to smell. You're able to feel the breeze and the air on your skin. You're able to hear the sounds that are specific to the area that you're in. This joy that you're feeling right now sends oxygen to your brain. And with the oxygen to your brain, your blood system is rejuvenated to such a degree that you're beginning to sense and know that regardless of the world of effects, that right where you are, all is well. That every organ, every function is renewed. And it continues to do a great and wonderful job to keep you healthy and whole. And as that path simply rolls back around, and you see yourself at your journey's end, you recognize that there's been a cleansing of your mind, of your body, of your spirit, that there's been a renewal, a rejuvenation, and that you've allowed your imagination to simply take you to a place that reminds you that wholeness is yours now. You begin to feel this sense of wholeness, knowing that on this path of our eternal life, that our wholeness is a state of consciousness, a state of well-being, a state of mindfulness and of thoughtfulness. And we sit and we just listen for a moment in the silence for that message that our bodies, that our minds, that life is giving us. And we allow ourselves to just listen for 1 minute in the silence. every day of our lives. We thank you. And every moment of our lives, we thank you. We thank you. So being grateful for this time in our meditation, in our silence, in our imagery, in our visioning, in our guided meditation, we give thanks. We give thanks for the wholeness that we experience. We give thanks that wholeness is ours now. That it is indeed who and what we are. And that there is nothing, no thing that can separate us from our wholeness. We simply clear away all that blocks or tries to interfere us from knowing this truth. And we say to wholeness, here I am. We are one. You are welcomed in my life, for we are one. I experience and am wholeness right now. This is the truth of who and what we are. We allow it to be. It is so, and so it is. Amen. I see some of y'all stretching. Like y'all was really gone for a while. Thank you so much for taking that meditation with me and for simply being so willing to embrace the wholeness that we are and to know it for ourselves. Thank you. It is now time to invite our ushers forward. In our wholeness, what we recognize is that there is a reciprocal nature of life. And that is that we receive and we give. It's like the ocean, the ebb and the flow. And as you simply take out that which you brought to share with the spiritual community, know that you are participating in the reciprocal nature of life. That as life continuously gives unto you, that you take a portion of what has been so freely given to you, and that you also give forth, so that we're fully participating in life, in the redistribution of our good. So whether it's our gifts and our tithes, or whether it's sharing a story that has been enlightening, or something that has blessed us in so many ways, as we begin this practice of giving of our good, as we receive our good, as we simply give forth some of our good, we begin to recognize that we have so much good in our life that sometimes it's hard to redistribute. That's a quality problem. Try experiencing that. You know, that as we give, as we continue to give of our good, that we're receiving so much that sometimes, whoa, I can't give fast enough. I'm receiving so much. So bless your gifts, your tithes, your offerings, that which you have brought to put into these baskets and to share with the spiritual community. Give it your own blessing. And as you place it in the basket, know that this spiritual community is indeed a steward of that which is being given, and that it also redistributes to the greater community. So thank you. Go forth, ushers. So, what a gift I have today, and what a joy and a pleasure it is to introduce
to some of you who may not know her and may not have experienced her presence, but you got a little taste of her right after meditation today, the gift and the way God shows up as Tammy Hall. I can tell you, I got a chance to meet Tammy out of Silomar, and from day one, she's just been a total gift. She is a musical genius, and she is a marvelous and magnificent way that God shows up as her and as her life through music and expressing so beautifully and so marvelously. She's headlining the Monterey Jazz Festival on Sunday, so she just flew in today. She's going to be with us for a few days, and she's heading out to Monterey, and then she's going to Germany and Switzerland and kind of going all over the world. I mean, she's, played at Carnegie Hall. We got a powerhouse tonight. Not that we don't have a powerhouse every Wednesday night, but tonight is our special gift. And she'll be available in the family room after service tonight, so you can talk with her and hug her up and let her know how much you enjoy her, and she can get on our mailing list and stay in touch with her in any way that you possibly can. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, beloved spiritual community, please enjoy the gift that is Tammy Hall.
Thank you, Reverend Sunshine. And thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Seaside. Thank you, Seaside. I just had a moment. It's really an honor and a joy to be here to share this time, to share music with you this evening. I knew the subject matter was this evening, and this particular song, written by Horace Silver, was resonating with me very strongly, and I wanted to share it with you. And some of you may know it. It's called Peace. I want to read you the lyrics, and then I'll play the tune. And I do need this. There's a place I know where the sycamores grow, where the daffodils have their fun, where the cares of the day seem to slowly fade away, and the glow of the evening sun, peace when the day is done. If I go there real late, let my mind meditate on everything to be done. If I search deep inside, let my conscience be my guide. Then the answers are sure to come. Don't have to worry none. When you find peace of mind, leave your worries behind. Don't say that it can't be done. With a new point of view, life's true meaning comes to you, and the freedom you seek is won. Peace is for everyone. Peace is for everyone. Peace is for everyone.
have time for you now to simply reveal your wholeness by sharing with the spiritual community that which you have been touched by, either in tonight's talk or some growth that you've experienced or something around the theme of wholeness that is really speaking to you and nudging you to share. Yes. Hello, beloved. Good to see you tonight.
My name is Linda, and what your talk was perfect. Because lately what I've been doing is letting life show me where I haven't been whole, where I haven't been in love, divine love with myself. And life does that, it just shows you. And we talked about letting it go. And so for me, what I've been using is to really be grateful and love that experience, because it's solely there to show where I have been disconnected, and it's allowing me to see that and bring myself home. So every experience that's not great, hurtful, whatever, is actually there to gift me back to myself. So why would I ever be upset about it or anything? So I just shift it with that love, and I've just been really diving into just love and light around whatever that is, and it is just shifting me amazingly. And then on the opposite side of that giving and that receiving, I've also been asking, like, okay, give me more joy. You know, if I'm feeling a little not high as a kite, then hey, where can I have more joy? And tonight I went to the beach and was going to go walk on the beach because I need to do some meditation and show up. There's a Lamborghini and they're going to take some pictures of this Lamborghini. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty car. Yeah. And then these two women walk by, and everyone's just walking past these two women. There's a woman with a dog and a woman with two dogs. And I'm looking, and I'm like, that's a woman with a dog and a goat. She's walking a goat and two Rottweilers. So I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God. I told her, I was like, I can't believe you're walking a goat, but thank you. Thank you for walking a goat. And I'm saying this, and the guys, the photographers taking the picture of the Lamborghini. It's a photo shoot. They turn and they're like, that's a goat. They brought the goat over and took some pictures with the Lamborghini. And I'm just like, how perfect is life? I am now laughing and joyful. And it was just, and then they walked down the beach. So everyone I kept passing were like, did you see the woman with the goat? And I'm like, yes, this is great. And I just kept sharing it, like, yeah, isn't life awesome? Where else can you be at the beach and see a goat? The goat's just walking in the water too. I'm like, that's strange, but that's cool. So anyways, that's what I wanted to share, was just both sides of it. It's all love and joy. And I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. Exactly. When we're not experiencing it, and when it comes up in our consciousness and our awareness that we're not experiencing the wholeness, it's an indication or an indicator to recognize the truth of who we are. And yes, when we go, hey, where can I experience more joy? Where can I experience more abundance? Where can I experience, more peace? By simply asking, it's already given. It's kind of like, oh, you have no clue. Linda said, oh, where can I experience more joy? And Spirit, in its infinite self, is going, oh, you have no clue. You're about to see a goat on the beach next to a Lamborghini. Like, if that's not joy-filled. Right? That's just the way life is. Like, the universe conspires for our good. And the more I believe that, the more it just shows up. The more things that I would think are so weird, like you probably thought, like, what are the chances? It just, because I said, oh yeah, I'm ready for more joy. I'm ready for more abundance. I'm ready to receive my good. I'm ready to get a hug. Boom, I'm going to get like 35, 40 hugs in the back of the line or over there in just a few minutes, because I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to receive the love, ready to receive it. And that's what we get to do. It's exactly what we get to do. We get to recognize our wholeness. And simply by stating it so, it gets to happen. It gets to be so. You know? So we've come to that part of the evening where we get to socialize in our family room, and we get to hang out for a few minutes afterwards and just kind of, you know, give and receive love to our fellow community members, and where we have an opportunity to break bread together. Our choir cookbook has been doing fantastically well in terms of bringing the awareness of Seaside and all the gifts and talents and everything that Seaside has to offer. So I'll fill you in on a little secret. Tonight, you visit the choir cookbook table. And if you open the book to page 13, you will find my recipe for some shrimp. Now, this ain't just your average shrimp. It's some good shrimp. So good that tonight we have samples for you.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So you get to have a sample, not a meal. Because I know some of us came hungry. So we get to sample the shrimp, and then we get to take home a cookbook. And there's folks there at the table that can help us to do that. So please go sample the shrimp. I didn't cook the shrimp tonight, but you can go home and try it yourself and bring me a sample. So I can critique it and tell you how fabulous it is. But please avail yourself to all of the fixings that we have tonight, especially stop by our choir cookbook table. Avail yourself to the love that's there and the cookbook and all of the wonderful recipes that are in there, not just mine, but from the choir, from Dr. Swanson, and just all wonderful people who have sponsored a recipe in the cookbook tonight. So that's all I'll say about that, because I'm getting really hungry, and the more I talk up here, the less time we have to, you know, do that out there, right? All right. So I want to thank our musicians tonight. I want to thank our inspirational musician, Tammy Hall. Thank you so much. And the beautiful Sunny Daye, who's always here and available, bringing us our community songs. And want to bless Jim Bianchi right where he is. He had the night off today. I want to bless him right where he is. So he's part of our musical team. Want to thank Ed in the back, who has done all our audio tonight. Thank you, Ed. We have Annette and Tim, who are on the video aspects of life, making sure that we break into people's homes via live stream and just kind of all in their houses. Hi, y'all. Thanks for being here tonight. Also want to thank David Yankaskis for doing our invocation and our reading today, and also want to make sure that I thank Linda in the back, Linda Light, Carol, rather. Yeah. I'm off tonight, but she's so bright. She's the light. She's held the light for us tonight. So thank you so much. Our practitioners are available for us this evening for prayer. If you'd like a moment in prayer, it would be their joy to pray with you. We also have a prayer box if you want to just simply write out your prayer request. The practitioners and the ministers here at Seaside, we hold you in prayer when you fill out a prayer request. So please avail yourself to that method of us knowing the truth and holding the truth for you, for your wholeness, for your family, for whatever it is that you would love prayer with. I think I want to make sure that I thank Jenny. She oversees all of it and makes sure that we're all set all the time. So thank you for the love that you bring to our Wednesday night session. And without further ado, we're going to invite Sunny Daye and Mellow Daye forward so that we can sing our closing prayer. And then please meet us in the family room for our fellowship afterwards. This is our prayer.
to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change